New Chanel, mama and Gucci, got out the hoop, yeah. Been through hell, carry the, life is a movie, yeah. We prevail, now we do the groupies, don't do the groupies, yeah. Got money for bail, don't act like you know me, knock off your koofy, yeah. Flooded the rollie with Ethan, Hellcat Katrina the Beamer, blowing the money like Freeman. I got a flex in the sleepers, they tryna do me like Caesar. You gotta watch for the creepers, I got the eye in the steam.
Hey guys, check out our merch. It's on Shopify. It's Dreamchasers, DreamChasers-indie.myshopify.com. Dreamchasers-indie.myshopify.com. If you like some of the shirts that you see in some of our videos, check us out today. Hey, welcome back to Dreamchasers. I am your illustrious host, Harvey Harrington. We have a guest today on who is a former running back for IU. He went to Indiana University. He hails from Georgia. He played for the Indianapolis Colts, and he is now a financial advisor. His name is Jermaine Chaney, and I am very happy to have him on today. A good friend. We have a lot of great conversation, and we're going to talk about his life today. Jermaine Chaney, how you doing?
Doing well, brother Harvey, man. Obviously, man, it's been too long to finally get on your calendar, man. So thank you for blessing me at the end of the year.
Hey man, look, man, I'm so busy and I got so many people hunting my door down, man. I'm happy that you got on finally.
I know, man. Thankfully, I know your mom's from Georgia, so maybe that pushed me over the edge to finally give me a shot. Give me a shot, coach.
Put me in the game.
Put me in the game, coach. I'm ready.
Oh my goodness. So, hey man, where you from and what was your childhood like?
Oh man, originally, actually, I grew up and actually born in Athens, Georgia,
Okay.
and switched. We had a little gypsy in us, man. Switched schools and finished up in a school called West Hall High School near
Okay.
Gainesville, Georgia.
Okay.
So played three sports: football, basketball, ran track. And I know y'all are the hoopers of the world, but I did get a full ride offer to UT Chattanooga to hoop. So don't catch me slipping. Don't act like I just play football.
You can ball too, huh?
A little bit. Game's been modified, right?
Right.
Because I want to go to work the next day.
Right, for sure. So early on, man, what sports did you play? I know you said you're a 3-sport athlete coming up, but what was your main sport? Talk to me a little bit about that, and then talk to me, how did you key in on playing football, being a hooper as well?
Well, I mean, I think that's part of the issue that I see nowadays is kids already go ahead and specialize when they're not necessarily even developed.
Right.
And so, really growing up, like I said, I hooped. I ran track. I went to state every year in track. I won 100, 200 meters my senior year in high school.
Right.
Football, average 11 yards a carry. What I mean? Hooping wise, I just love to play defense, which that's rare now.
Right.
And shoot threes,
Right.
and dunk on people. Yeah, that was basketball for me, man.
Right.
So, I think it really helped me develop as a full athlete and not just dealing with overutilization, of just doing these same repetitive moves and wondering why the injuries are even higher now than ever.
Right. I think the best basketball players were football players. I don't care what nobody say, because I think with football, man, I mean, for one, you got the aspect of the explosion and you know what I mean, how to use your body, how to protect your body, and stuff like that. But it just seems like football players are fearless. Like most hoopers, like I played with a guy. I went to junior college in Florida, and
Okay.
I played with a guy. He was at Mizzou. He
Mhm.
went to Mizzou the year before I got to the junior college, and he ended
Mhm.
up. I don't know if he dropped out of Mizzou or whatever, but played basketball with him at junior college, and he
Gotcha.
was one of the best players. I mean, he could do everything. He's like Iverson, man, but
Mhm.
he was a straight football player. He played football. I mean, he played basketball in high school, but he loved the game of football. And he
Mhm.
came back home. Somebody's like, "Why don't you go back and hoop?" And he ended up, I think, going somewhere beyond that. But I think
Mhm.
the best basketball players are they played some type of football. But
Mhm.
what
Mhm.
was life like in the Chaney household?
Oh man, I'm the baby, so shoot, you can't really mess around, man. My goal early in life, if I could beat my sister in
Right,
anything,
right,
I would be on my way.
right.
And she hooped as well. She was a drum major.
Mm,
She also ran track, man. So, like I said, my goal earlier was if I could beat her running, right, I could be something
right,
special. I didn't beat her to my senior year in high school. That's how strong
right,
he was, man. And then my brother, him and I mean, we just every day we competed, right?
right,
And I think that was also part of the development just of my own skills. Cause with my brother, it's like, man, he's not laying up
right.
or taking it easy on me. So, finally started lifting a little bit,
Mm,
got a little muscle on me, and the rest was history. But I had to, right?
right,
It wasn't like it wasn't optional because that's the only way I could even attempt to beat him because he was stronger until I got stronger.
right, right. What role did your parents play in sports? What were your
Mm,
parents like on the sidelines? What were they like as far as you playing
mm,
basketball, running track?
mhm.
How did they treat you? Were they present in the sense of kind of pushing you, or was they kind of sitting down and just watching you play?
Man, it was a combination
Hmm.
of things, man. My parents, also were involved in the band and track and
Mm.
also hooping, man. So it was really hard to think that they could come to a game and just sit in the same spot, man. Some of them, man, they was on the field, man. So
Really?
they were involved, man, and I'm glad you brought that up
Right,
because man, both of my parents passed away this year, man,
right,
and
right,
it's definitely been um, it's been interesting, man, just to reflect on the sacrifices that they've made for all three of us.
right,
Number one, and then secondly, man, they were always in, right?
right.
And and I don't really know how you do it as a parent. Man, I got four kids, but man, if they were all playing sports, man, I don't know how you even
It's
not
tough.
just see them at the game, but actually be present in their lives. So,
Right, right,
man, my folks, mill 'em, clearly miss them dearly, but man, they have set a path or a standard, that
hmm,
is what it's about in our family to support kids, not just on practicing, but just support them even in the game and everything else. So, yeah.
right, right. So, I know you said you played three sports in high school.
Hmm.
Um, what led you to play high? What led you to play football in college? And then who was recruiting you? So it's a three-part question. What led you to play football in college?
Hmm.
Who was recruiting you? And then why did you choose IU? Being a Georgia Southern cat.
Well, man, I'll definitely tell you this. I had a coach,
Mm,
Coach Ward. Man, he coached me from Afro to no Afro, right? And for
right.
those who know what I'm talking about, yeah, I had I won't say everybody had a curl, but yeah, I had a curl. And so,
Can we get a? Can I get a photo of that? No,
no,
go ahead, man. I ain't gonna start. Go
no, it's
ahead.
missing. Yeah, it's missing.
I got my room to talk, but go ahead. But go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah, I see that. But um, and I remember Coach. Coach Ward, he shared things with me that I'll never forget. And I remember when I had hurt myself, pulled some cartilage off my rib, and he said, "Man, Jermaine, you're 100, you're 70% is most kids 100%."
Wow.
So, man,
In football.
in football,
Okay.
never forget that. But I remember my head football coach, Coach McCord. He said, "Oh man, you just need to give up that basketball, man. Your real talent is football, and like any athlete, you don't want to hear somebody limit you."
Right.
So I was like, "Man, I think I'm gonna quit. I'm gonna just play basketball." And they like, "Dude, you better wake up." And so, but when you start to look at, so UT Chattanooga was my only basketball scholarship offer, but the flip side from football, Tennessee, Auburn, Georgia, Clemson, all these other places, man, and Indiana.
Right.
And had a great English teacher in high school, Mrs. Cox, who basically really helped me formulate a question that I could at least attempt to ask some of these multi-million-dollar colleges about graduating. And many, I won't say many, mostly all of them never really got into kids actually getting a degree. My parents even went to college. I sit and watched my brother and sister both go to school and had some hiccups there, and then I'm the baby, so you change. So that question was, what's the percentage of athletes that graduate on time? I went to Tennessee, man. They was like, hey, coach, I got one question. What's the percentage of athletes that graduate on time? And he said, man, you ready to run that ball? And so just notice, man, that some schools had a plan that was in place for you to be able to, not do underwater basket weaving, but actually be able to get a degree. And so that's why I chose Indiana University.
That is a crazy story.
A great opportunity for guys too.
Right. That's a crazy story because I was about to be like, man, University of Georgia? Ain't that, you know what I mean? Since you being in Georgia, wouldn't that be like a lifelong dream?
Well, yeah. I mean, I met Vince Dooley and Herschel Walker when I was 11 years old. I was a Boy Scout, probably only Black Boy Scout in my area, because it was an easy sell for me. They said, hey, man, we get a chance to not only watch the Georgia football games, but man, you can come to the game, and all you got to do is just chaperone and make sure people who've been drinking too much, that they can make their way to, and make their way back to the car and clearly not drive. But yeah, that's exactly it. But long story short, I knew. I mean, I need to get a degree. I mean, I've I've been groomed to have an understanding about really my own trajectory, just based on my work ethic, right? So
yeah, that's a heck of a way to look at it. I mean, a lot of people are just, what's the next step? They're trying to go to college so that they can go and play in the NFL. Well, you're thinking about getting your education. I mean, NFL sound like it was a bonus for you. I mean, you're trying to get it right for life, because ultimately that ball's gonna stop bouncing when it's gonna stop being thrown, and we all know that. Yeah, for sure.
Right.
So go ahead.
Yeah, no, you make a great point. And often sometimes I think people get it twisted, right? And I hear guys talking about, oh man, they used me, man, when I was at that school, man, they ain't even helping me, and all this other stuff. And clearly, they just they only sold you what you wanted, right?
For sure.
Don't act like it. I don't know what they're talking about. Like, no, they sold you on what you wanted, right? And at the time, you just wanted to play, right? So anyway, that's a whole nother topic.
Well, I mean, like I said, you had a great outlook. I mean, your parents, they raised you right, for you to be asking questions like that. Nowadays you go on the campus and they got Chaney on a sewn jersey.
Hmm.
and you excited just to be there. You checking out the girls.
Hmm.
And
That,
we all
that,
know what that is.
yeah, that still happened when I came out,
Yeah,
right?
well,
You know,
I
I
for
had
sure,
girls.
I know it did.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
gonna
folks
tell
are
me?
like, "Oh man, they had my name on it." It's like, okay, and right,
Right.
did they put your name on the loudspeaker in the game though? You know what I mean? Or, well, no, they didn't do that. Okay, well, they did back. I mean, this is like 100 years ago. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Oh, good, my brother. Well, so you get on Indiana's University. You get on the campus of IU, Indiana University.
Hmm.
Um, what was that like? Coming First of all, coming from Georgia to the University of Indiana. Which had you ever been to Indiana before?
Man, I got some relatives here. We had
Okay.
a family reunion
Okay.
and realized it got hot up here too, right?
Right. Right.
But not to Georgia heat. But man, he's from here, but they call him Champ Chaney. Actually, it was my dad's uncle,
Okay.
and he trained boxers here in Indy. So that was
Mm,
kind of the only real connection
okay.
from that standpoint. Didn't know how far Indianapolis was from Bloomington, but
Right.
yeah, that was really I had a little familiarity with being in Indiana, but
Right.
only from a family reunion.
Okay. Okay. So what was the IU campus like? How did you adjust? What was how was your life different coming here to play college football versus, in Georgia?
Hmm. Well, I mean, it's just another step of growing into being a young adult, man.
Okay.
And
Right.
so I didn't really know what I didn't know, you
Right.
know.
Right.
And actually, when I came up here, my recruiting visit it was in December, so really right around this time, ain't nobody on campus. I'm like, man, I can focus. I can really focus. I won't have any distractions, right?
Right. Right.
And until the rest of the girls showed up, and oh Lord, where they come from?
Right. Right.
But that being said, it was just I felt like I could come up here and focus and
Right.
still be able to accomplish the things that I had down that I needed to get accomplished.
Okay, for sure, for sure. Um, throughout those 4 years, what was football like? Um,
Hmm.
what was most memorable about playing for Indiana University?
Man, played under Coach Mallory, man, just no nonsense,
Okay,
right?
okay.
I remember I came in, I had my little earrings in. It's like, "Oh, we don't
Yeah,
need
that
all
bling
that.
bling.
We don't need all that."
Right,
I
right,
came in and, and I just now started trying to grow some hair. Like, yeah, you need a razor. I mean, he was just kind of no nonsense, but
right,
it really was just in the development, man. Oftentimes we're coming, to a university. They've
okay,
already invested, hundreds of thousands of dollars on you, but then
right,
you think you have a position to say what you will do and not do, right?
right, right.
Which is comical. But I mean, I played two sports in college as well, right? So I ran
Right.
track, and so
Oh,
track for me
I
was
didn't know you ran
yeah,
track. Okay,
man.
in
I'm,
college.
I'm telling you, I'm trying to tell you, Harv. I mean,
I'm
I mean,
interrupted. I'm
you
sorry.
you you might have would have picked me up on your team, man. But yeah, no, man, I ran track. I ran track too in college.
Nice.
And Coach Bell, I mean, another just tremendous influence, same as
Mm,
Coach Mallory.
mm,
But it was more like freedom for me of running track because I mean football, man, they want to know wherever you are. Track, man, I had a little bit of free time, barely.
right, right,
But part of my my plan or part of the agreement was for me to run track, I could only run 2 days a week track, two
okay,
days a week football.
okay,
So man, I was wore out, man. I
right.
thought I was wore out now, but I was wore out. Coming in, man, turf burns on your arm, and
Right,
you're supposed to be running track. You shouldn't have no scabs on you. But
right.
we had a spring football game. That was yesterday. So,
That's
but yeah.
crazy. All right. So you're finishing up. So you did 4 years at IU, right?
Yep. Yep.
So you get to that last year. Um, NFL starts knocking. Um, when did you know that you really had a shot to go to the NFL? And then what was the process like?
Hmm. Yeah, Harv, I don't know if I even just was thinking about that. You
Okay.
know,
All right.
I still believe even to this day, man. I think you're a forever learner.
Mm,
And if you can already identify, you think you're better than someone else, then man, I think that's where you clearly go wrong at. I
right.
just I just knew I had things that I still needed to improve on. You
Right.
know,
Right.
my junior year was better, than my senior year. My even junior year with all the other stuff that was going on, still running track. I qualified for the NCAA in the 200 meters indoor.
Mm,
And so that's at 210, man. So
right.
I
Right.
didn't see many other
Right.
football players there.
Right. Running track. Golly.
Other than, some of the Ohio State guys and track really afforded me to meet some of the other Big Ten running backs from Kajana Carter, from Tyrone Wheatley. Chris Sanders was the receiver as well for
Right.
Ohio State. And, with football, you didn't really get a chance to chop it up or have a conversation. So
Right.
it just afforded me, man, just to, be able to meet guys and in some sense give yourself a little bit of measurement on where you are compared to some of the other dudes. But yeah, I didn't see any other dudes there
Right.
for the indoor 200 meters. So, like I said before, I think when you are, and I'm sure you training kids and even training attitude and mentality is
Mhm.
also part of. You can train people physically, but just mentally, do they have it right? And that's the key.
Right.
So I, we wasn't in the day of 4-star, 5-star, 12-star, all these other stars.
Right.
It
Right.
was basically, you were either blue chip, man. Either you could play or you couldn't play,
Right.
and
Right.
that was it. And so I think oftentimes you got kids are riding so much on someone else's projection of how good they are when if you don't have a learner first attitude, man, it's going to be very difficult for you to continue to keep playing.
Right.
So I just said I've always remained coachable, right?
Okay. Right.
you know, 40, I don't know, 47, 48 years old, I'm still coachable.
Right. Right. What was that time like um in the NFL versus all the other stuff you did versus high school versus
Yeah.
college? What was that like?
Well, like I said, I gave you the highlight on the junior year. Senior year was tough, man. I had two knee scopes, right?
Mm,
Left knee, right knee.
right.
And so, man, that makes it hard, for a running back to get a chance to play
Absolutely. Right.
in the league, right? And
Right.
so, so once that happened, I just still felt, in my heart that man, it can't be over like this. So
Right.
I started working out for teams. Some teams had me playing like cornerback stuff. Man, I played running back all my life, which is
Right.
crazy,
Right.
but they definitely knew that, man, I had some surgeries, but, still, with all that other stuff going on my knees, man, I still ran a 4.42, right? So
Mm.
that was still like, hey, there's something there.
Right. For
But
sure.
I didn't get drafted, but I signed a contract and went and played in Ottawa, Canada, the Rough Riders. So did that for about 2 seasons.
Okay.
Then I got back and basically just taking sporadic jobs, just still trying to maintain my conditioning and so forth.
Right.
And really, then from there, I mean, like I said, lobby. At that time, I got back. Bloomington still was the base camp for me. Washing trucks in the rain at UPS, which was kind of crazy. Like, and this is what it looks like if you don't have a degree, right?
Right.
This
Right.
is your future right here. So man, I'm like, man, there's no way in the world, I can continue to keep doing this.
Right.
So I get back and lobbied, man, and then I end up getting drafted. Everything is invite only. So
Right.
people think, hey, you got to work out. No, it doesn't work like that. So
Right.
I went back down to Georgia, visit one of my teammates' mom, Brenda Johnson, who at the time was the secretary for the Falcons for over 30 years, and told her I still wanted to play. And long story short, it's still back to, in some sense, who you know, and met got introduced to Coach Lord, which is a coach over in Europe. And long story short, I got picked up. I got drafted, got picked up, and ended up playing 2 seasons in Frankfurt, Germany.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Man, it's funny because with football, I mean, I was talking to somebody about this the other day. It's funny how you could be playing one position and they'll switch you to something. You know what I mean? I remember like Antoine Randall was playing
Randall L.
quarterback. Randall L.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Randall L. Antoine Randall L. My bad. Let's get it right.
Get it right.
So to see him go from a quarterback, which I liked him as a quarterback, I was like, I thought it was cool. He's mobile, but to put him at a receiver position, you know what I mean? Same thing with, they were talking about Tim Tebow, putting him at a tight end position, which he would make a great tight end. But, that's about the only sport that you see, a change from college to the pros, or they get in the pros and they change it, and it's like, that's kind of crazy to me. But for them to put you at a cornerback and you're a running back, that's kind of crazy. You know what I mean when you think about it. Post football. Well, no, let's do this. You were with the Colts for a good little stretch. Who was the coach? Who was the coach when you were there?
Yeah, Coach Mora. Yeah.
Mora. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And you so was that kind of cool? Given the fact that you had played at IU, what was that like? Did you know a lot of people, or was it
No,
just
man. No, I did not.
okay.
It just because I was here in Indiana didn't mean I knew
Didn't
any
mean
of
nothing.
these, right? None of them.
Right.
Matter of fact, I knew more of the Falcons guys than here at Indy, because when I got, so I give you the whole story. So, so it was over in Europe for 2 years. Our last year, in '99, we actually won a championship, the World Bowl, right? So we shot a commercial for Nutella. We cut a little CD, which was hilarious, man. So none of this you can find anywhere. Maybe, I don't know, but that afforded me to get opportunity here. So the beautiful thing about it was an opportunity. The difficult thing about it is, man, I've already been through camp once. I've already played 15 games, and now I'm showing back up for camp.
Right.
So yeah, it was a ooh-wee. Yeah.
Right.
So this, when we was at camp was at Rose-Hulman the year that it was the first time, because it's been in Anderson forever.
Right.
And so man, I go over and shoot, I don't know anybody, right? This one guy came up and introduced himself to me and told me he was glad to have me on the team, and I later find out that was Peyton Manning, right? So I don't, you know what I mean? I don't know any of these dudes.
Hey, nice to meet you. Hey, by the way, I'm Peyton Manning.
Right. I mean,
how you doing? You all right?
Hey, I mean, he was chill, man, and Peyton's a good dude. I don't care what other people say. He's a good dude, man. He's been consistent with our relationship, and so man, I got no qualms. Then another guy, I didn't know this till later, but he said, "Man, you look like one of my high school teammates, Napoleon." I'm like, "Man, what are you talking about?" Right. Man, it's Jermaine, right? But that was Marcus Paulier, right? Alabama guy.
Yeah.
I mean, so, but man, just really wouldn't trade anything, man. It was an excellent opportunity, man, to continue something to the end. Right. Ran a lot with Jeff Saturday, because we was just all trying to make a team, right?
Right.
Edge comes in, 2 days later, 2 days before camp break. So that means everybody else is wore out,
Right. Right.
fresh legs and Edgerrin was also a guy who, number one, just gifted in so many ways. But then just was still trying to help myself because, I'm behind, right? I done learned some other offense, right? And then I show up here and the playbook, is this
Not
thick.
that thick, right?
And the reference book is even thicker, right? It's like, man, I'm dreaming, man. I'm practicing 24 hours a day, man, because I'm wore out, and dreaming about these plays. But Peyton figured out real early, man. He said, "Hey, man, just give me one of those looks, man. I get you in the right place." So I was like, bet.
Right. That's